Welcome to the Hawaii Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions. The presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/Hawaii. And now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters. And first up is Pitzer College.
Aloha, everyone. I am about to start my screen share. Thank you so much for joining us. I know at this point you're probably going to be hearing from numerous schools, and I just want to give you a sense of where we are located so you have an idea of the great institution that Pitzer is. First of all, let me see if I can get this going. Okay, so this is me, and I am the person that's responsible for Hawaii. And if you have any questions, I'll also have information at the very end that'll show exactly where you can find me. So first and foremost, here's some information about where Pitzer is actually located. We are located in Southern California. So as you can see, we're not too far away from Disneyland. We are about 40 minutes east of downtown Los Angeles. You can easily take the train. We are about an hour away from the beach. So that makes for nice weekends. You can also go to Mount Baldy. So we are very close to a variety of different things in the local Los Angeles urban area. So it's a great place to actually study. But here's a little bit more about why you should be interested in Pitzer. First of all, you should know what our mission statement is. We were founded in 1963, and Pitzer College produces socially engaged, responsible citizens of the world through an academically rigorous, interdisciplinary liberal arts education, emphasizing social justice, intercultural understanding, and environmental sensitivity. Now, this is important because, again, we are a liberal arts institution, but it's these other terms that, again, make us a little different from other institutions. So, again, you'll hear a great deal about environmental sustainability, intercultural understanding, social responsibility, and student engagement. These are our core values. So you should know that if you're interested in Pitzer, these are things that you should be looking out for in terms of who we are and what we represent. As far as Pitzer, another great aspect is that we are a member of the Claremont Colleges. So we are 5 colleges that are located right next door to each other. And the great thing about the institutions is that we are located, again, within walking distance. So it's not necessary for you to take a bus or a train. You can basically just walk. We are right across the street from some of these institutions, such as Scripps College, which you're going to be hearing about in just a second, Harvey Mudd College, Claremont McKenna, and Pomona is about a 10 to 15 minute walk or a scoot, depending on if you have a skateboard. So each of these schools were meant to be right next to each other so that we can share in resources. So you can see kind of in the outline, Pomona was founded first, and Scripps, and Claremont McKenna, Harvey Mudd, and Pitzer. Each one has a history and brings a great deal to the consortium. We also have 2 graduate institutions, and they work basically independent of each other. But the greatest thing about the consortium is that we share in resources, like our library, as well as classes. So academically, you can take classes at any one of the other colleges. And so that is a wonderful resource to you as a student. You can also take advantage of clubs and organizations. Again, we are across the street from each other. So I guarantee that you're going to make friends and you're going to take classes at all the different institutions. And you're going to take part in going to the dining hall and the social events. So basically, as an institution, Pitzer has about 1,200 students. Scripps has another 1,200. Harvey Mudd has about 900. Claremont McKenna has about 1,400. Pomona 1,600. So all in all, this is about 6,000 students. So even though you're coming to Pitzer, you're actually going to somewhat of a medium-sized institution, which is a nice thing. Never feels too small or too big. Now, once again, these are our core values. And these are important because, again, it's what we share in common. So as far as environmental sustainability, you're going to find that we have buildings that are all gold and platinum certified with solar panels, great water system. We have the only net zero certified building for the Claremont colleges. So environmental analysis is actually a pretty popular major. We also have an intercultural understanding. But over 50% of our students actually study abroad. So this is something that we really push. And again, as far as social responsibility, our students donate over 100,000 hours of community service. They're engaged in the community, outside the community. So we really do believe this is a part of your education. There's actually a social justice theory that students have to take part in. So it doesn't really matter what major you are, you're going to learn a little bit about social justice and how to actually engage in that. And in addition to that, we have student engagement. Our students tend to be some of the most active students in the country. Our student senate has members that are part of every committee on campus, even the most powerful committees that look at tenuring of faculty. We actually do have students that sit on that committee, as well as our budgetary committee. So if you're a student that's currently very engaged on your high school campus, this is a great place for you as well, because we do want our students to take leadership roles and be part of some of the history that continues to happen on our campus every day. We were actually one of the first schools to divest from fossil fuels, and this was very much something that our students really pushed for. As far as what the admitted class, I'm posting the 2021 admitted class. We actually just admitted the most recent class. It's pretty similar. And so we do have students coming from around the world, and they're very much a diverse community that comes to the institution as well as to the Claremonts to engage and be part of this very unique consortium. Here's some quick information regarding admission. So our application, we do a holistic reading process. Pitzer has been an institution that is has been test optional. So we've had a history of doing this. So again, this is something that we do well. And last, we're going to be showing some questions for later. If you have any more for me about Pitzer, I'm happy to answer them. So I'm going to turn it back over to Matt.
Awesome, thank you. And next up is Scripps College.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen as well. Hello, my name is Jamila Jameson. I am the Director of Enrollment Strategies and Operations at Scripps. I am also the regional representative for Hawaii as well. As Yvonne mentioned, we are located in Southern California, about 35 miles from downtown Los Angeles. We are a small private women's college, again, one of the Claremont colleges, as Yvonne mentioned. We are a consortium of colleges that all work together to share resources. We have over 2,000 courses per term that we offer. Scripps is about a little over 1,000 students, but as she mentioned, consortium-wide, we have 6,000 students. We work collaboratively to make sure that we're all on one academic calendar, which makes it easy for students to cross-register across campuses. Your meal plan will work at any of the dining halls on campus. So it makes it really easy to have, the small liberal arts college experience without having to forsake the resources that a university would provide. So it's actually a great opportunity. In fact, the only thing that really separates us from Pitzer College is a 2-lane street. So we're very, very close together. Which is a unique experience as part of the Claremont colleges. We at Scripps are a campus that really does value learning across disciplines, and that comes through mostly through our core curriculum, our interdisciplinary core curriculum, which all students at Scripps will take during their first 3 semesters on campus. And it allows students to really think critically and analytically about how various academic disciplines such as philosophy and biology and music and economics, how all of those various disciplines intersect and how they're interconnected. And so we really talk a lot about, using the things that we learn in the classroom and applying interdisciplinary learning in the real world. We do offer over 50 different majors on campus. Some of those are also inherently interdisciplinary, such as environment, economics and politics, media studies, science, technology, and society. All of our students are required during their senior year to write a senior thesis as well. So taking the things that they've learned through the core, through their major and elective courses, and applying those to a real problem that they want to see solved, and presenting that research to the larger Claremont community. We do believe at Scripps that students learn just as much from one another as they do from the faculty. And so most of our classes will be seminar style and discussion based. So there'll be very small classes where you'll really get to interact with your peers quite a bit and learn from them while you're learning from the faculty as well. One of the best things about Scripps, and what I think is a great addition to Scripps, is the Women's College experience, right? Our mission is to educate and empower women by providing a supportive community where women can build their confidence to start breaking down barriers. We're the kind of community where we want to support one another, but we're also not afraid to engage in difficult conversations and challenge one another, because we know that that only enhances the academic and the co-curricular experience. We're very unique in the sense that we are a women's college, but within the wider context of a co-ed consortium. And so while the Scripps experience is very much a women's college experience, you will see men in your classes, the dining hall, and just walking around campus, because we are part of the Claremont colleges. So there's going to be a lot of overlap with the other campuses as well. So it's a unique experience of having this women college empowering experience within the larger context of a co-ed consortium of schools. At Scripps, we very much believe in building leaders, the next generation of women leaders. We do that in a number of ways. It happens obviously through clubs and organizations, as Yvonne mentioned. We do collaborate. So at Scripps, we have 30 clubs and organizations, but there are over 250 within the Scripps community, within the Claremont community. We have our LASPA Center for Leadership, which is really a center that's focused on closing the gender gap in leadership opportunities. And we see that, many of the women leaders that are out there today are actually coming from women's colleges. So that's one of the things that we want to help to develop the next generation of women leadership. But when we think about leadership, we also try to think about, what does leadership mean to different people? Because it doesn't always mean that you have to be the president of a club or the CEO. We want to help all of our students define what leadership means to them and how they can be leaders in a way that makes sense to them. We have a vibrant campus community. There's almost always events and programs going on. We do offer study abroad in 47 countries with over 120 different programs. There's a lot to do on campus, both the Scripps campus, but within the consortium as well. The last thing that I want to say very quickly before we move on to the next group and then we go to the Q&A is a little bit about admission financial aid. We are an early decision school. Our first early decision deadline is November 15th. Our early decision 2 and regular decision deadlines have not been set yet, but it's usually in early January. We are also test optional. We went test optional last year, but we will continue to be test optional indefinitely. So there's no worries about us going back to being to requiring standardized tests. We do offer both need-based and merit-based financial aid as well, and we will meet 100% of demonstrated financial need. So I'm going to stop there and move on to the next group, and I'm excited for all of your questions at the end.
Awesome, thank you. Next up is the University of Tennessee.
Hey friends, my name is Jordan and I am the Regional Admissions Representative for the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I'm so excited to join you today and be able to talk about the wonderful university that I graduated from. So I am a Knoxville native and a proud alumna of the University of Tennessee, and can't wait to tell you more about my institution. So let's get started. So the University of Tennessee is situated in a really sweet spot. We are called an urban wilderness in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that's because we are situated right next to downtown Knoxville, but we're also just a 45-minute drive from the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is the most visited national park in the United States. So if you love being outdoors, you want to do some paddle boarding, you want to do some hiking, camping, we have an incredible location for that. Also, there is an amusement park, Dolly Parton's Amusement Park out there. We also have a ski resort and snow resort, so all kinds of fun things to do. So if you do like being active, we're a great school for you. On the other hand, if you're somebody that wants to be more in the city, you want to be more in an urban area, we are just a mile walk to downtown. I used to run around campus whenever I was trying to be fit and healthy in college, and I had a 3-mile loop where I would run from campus through World's Fair Park, downtown to downtown Knoxville, along the Tennessee River and back to my apartment. So you're that close. And there's a really lively music scene and food scene. We are a maker city, so tons of makers. It's a great downtown area. So a little bit about Tennessee. It was founded in 1794, and there's something special about that. So the city of Knoxville was founded in 1791. The University of Tennessee founded in 1794. The state of Tennessee wasn't founded until 1796. So we are older than the state of Tennessee, which means we have all kinds of traditions, as you can see here, resources and connections that help you to become successful as you're a UT student. So we are already distinguished as a university. We have the R1 Carnegie distinction, which means we're a tier 1 research institution. We are the biggest provider of Goldwater scholars or producer of Goldwater scholars. We're a top producing school for Fulbright scholars. So if you're interested in an academically distinguished institution, we are a school that you should definitely be considering. We also have a space institute. So if you're interested in aerospace engineering, you want to go on to be a NASA astronaut, we've had 10 students go on to become NASA astronauts in the last 35 years. And that number is astronomical. Oh, I know that joke was out of this world, but we do really have a lot of great things to appreciate. We also have a partnership with Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which is really distinct. There are only 3 schools in the country who have a partnership with a national lab, and you would be able to study with top scientists and researchers and have government clearance as a college student. So that's really, really cool. We do have about 30,000 students on campus. 24,000 of those are undergraduate students. And for your experience as a UT student, we have 600 plus student organizations. Greek life is part of that, but we have a whole variety of things to be involved in. And we have 360 undergraduate majors to choose from, which puts us in the top 1% of options to choose from undergraduate major-wise in the entire world. So if you want it, we probably have it. And like I said, we've been around since the 1700s, so we probably do it well. So these are the 9 academic colleges to choose from. Another highlight that I want to point out to you is we are home to the world's first body farm. So if you're interested in CSI, forensics, anything like that, we are actually home to an FBI training facility, and actually people come from all over the world to train at our institution. So we have made some major advancements for forensic studies at our university, which is super cool. We also have a direct entry nursing program. We are home to one of 30 veterinary sciences programs in the whole nation. So lots and lots to enjoy at the University of Tennessee, to study at the University of Tennessee. It's a great opportunity. So now I know you're like, oh my gosh, just tell me more. I'm getting super excited. Well, don't worry, I'm going to. So we also want you to be successful for your students. So we have a Center for Career Development. In case you want to continue on and study, we do have some upper programs for you, some graduate level programs. And if you're ready to jump right into your career, our Center for Career Development will help you get started. And we actually have a really high percentage, 89% of our students get jobs 6 months outside of graduating. So it's super awesome. We want to support you there. We also have Student Success Center, tutoring, things like that, living and learning communities on our campus where you can live with people who are studying the same thing as you. And we have 3 different living and housing styles for you to take part in while you're on our campus. Like I mentioned, lots of different clubs and organizations. We do have NCAA Division I and the SEC sports programs. So we have 23 national championships under our belt. If you want, you can be a part of those. But if you're not on that level of participation in sports, we do have intramurals and clubs and things like that. And study abroad, 50 different countries to choose from, and you can either do a 2-week program all the way to a full year, which is really awesome. So you can either apply through vip.utk.edu or the Common App, and those have the same application requirements. So very simple and straightforward there. If you want to know what our deadlines are, you can check them out here. November 1st is early action, and December 15th is the regular decision. You want to confirm by May 1, tell us you're going to be a vol. So this is the total cost of attendance. Remember, cost of attendance is different than tuition and fees. So just make sure that you look at that whole sticker price. And that's my time. You can always reach out to me and ask more. Here's my information here, but we're going to move from the Southeast all the way up north to the University of British Columbia. Thanks for having me, y'all. It has been a pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you. And yes, next up is the University of British Columbia.
Thanks, Jordan. That was great. I want to come visit Tennessee. So hello, everyone, and welcome to learning a little bit about the University of British Columbia. I'm going to be talking to you. My name is Aaron Anderson, and thanks for those that are spending some time here. We're going to be looking at my email address there, and be sure to chat it with us if there's questions as you come. I do want to first off by mentioning that while we're joining us virtually in this space, I do want to acknowledge that University of British Columbia and Vancouver is on the ancestral, traditional, and unceded land of the Musqueam people. And I know they're in Hawaii, that there's been many people that have been taking care of that land for many, many years. So I do want to acknowledge that as well as we begin our time today. And so in this brief few minutes, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the University of British Columbia, talk a little about the world-class institution, our campuses, and give you some admissions information. And of course, again, there's lots of questions you can be asking, and we can keep in touch after this brief time together. So in terms of academics, when you think about the University of British Columbia, we are a public research university in Canada, amongst the best in Canada and the world, consistently ranked among the top 40. And so if other similar US institutions, you might be thinking about like UCLA, University of Washington, University of Colorado Boulder, other large public research universities. Another big number for you is we're international. So if Canada isn't enough for you, then the fact that we have 160 different countries represented, 13,000 international students, we are amongst the most international universities in the world. But where are we located? I'm guessing that a few of you on this call today probably have been there, but in case you haven't, we do have two campuses. Where are they? And does anyone know what our closest city is? Well, we are about a 6-hour flight to from Honolulu, direct flight there, or from the Big Island, about a 2-hour drive north of Seattle. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we do have two campuses. So there are campus in the city of Vancouver and our Okanagan campus in Kelowna. We'll look at both of them briefly here. And if you've never been to Vancouver, it is gorgeous. So this is, oh my goodness, look at this photo. So this is similar if you live in Honolulu or joining us, similar connection to the ocean, to the outdoors. We love to go hiking. We go to the beach in the city center there. About 3 million people live in Vancouver, and a gorgeous, gorgeous place. And the campus itself, in this top photo, is located on the westernmost peninsula, about 40,000 students. So as I mentioned, it's a large public institution, but surrounded by forest. You walk in 5 minutes, you're on the beach, jump on the bus, and you're in downtown Vancouver for all the nightlife down there in about 20 minutes. But it is large, and so that's why for some students, they prefer to be connected to the Kelowna campus, which is our Okanagan campus. Medium-sized city, again, about 4 hours drive inland, right on Lake Okanagan. And the Okanagan campus is a campus of about 9,000 students. So a medium-sized campus, but the same range of academic programs. So it's just more about what type of environment you want to be in. When I'm here, I'm always thinking about being on the Big Island with the soaring hills, and great is where we grow our fruits and vegetables, very warm in the spring, in the fall here in the Okanagan campus. So two different campus experiences for you. But again, whichever campus you choose, you're going to have a very strong experience being in a university that really puts active learning, a lot of academic focus on experiential learning. So we have outstanding internship programs, strong academic peer success programs, and then there's connection and there's focus on helping you have a strong student experience throughout the 4 years, whether you're on the Vancouver or the Okanagan campus. Let's switch gears a little bit. If you're with me so far, talk a little about in terms of admissions. Again, we're looking at very similar to a US process. You're going to be applying in the fall. Deadline is in January, and then you want to work to get your documents in by March. When you're applying, you'll be applying, you're going to pick your campus, and then that middle number there, you're going to pick one of 41 different degrees to apply to. So that's the thing to be thinking about. And just briefly, as most universities are, we're going to be focusing on your academics. There's grade 11, grade 12 grades. We are test optional this year. You do have a chance to provide some additional information through essays and such. And that we're really focusing on that breadth and rigor of your degree or your courses. So AP courses, information like that will be really, really helpful. How much does it all cost? I'm sure there's some parents here today. We do look at the cost. We are in Canadian dollars, so you see the left there. We're total cost in Canadian about $50,000. Great exchange rate for you right now, so it's about 42,000 US dollars based on the current exchange rate. So comparable to other top US universities that you're seeing. And we do have scholarships available. So while we're a public institution, we don't have awards for everyone. We do provide merit-based awards, and all students are automatically considered for those merit-based awards you see on the right there. We do have a limited number of needs-based awards, and you need to be nominated by your school for those. Just coming up to the end of the time here, so hopefully this has been a good overview for you. And if you are interested in learning a little more about the University of British Columbia, I'm around for the Q&A. I have my name and contact information here it is as well. So if you are interested in connecting with us, are you kids on the TikTok or maybe on the Instagram? Then find us there, or you can always send me an email, and there is my email address, aaron.anderson@ubc.ca. Thanks again for spending some time with us on this Saturday afternoon. And Matt, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. And next up is Worcester Polytechnic Institute.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hopefully I am sharing and you can see that screen. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Adam Epstein. I am from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, or WPI, and I will go ahead and jump right in. WPI is a medium-sized private research institution located in Worcester, Massachusetts. We are in the second largest city in New England. Worcester is about a little less than an hour west of Boston. You can see New York City in relatively close proximity on the map as well, to give you a little bit of context on our location all the way on the East Coast. We are, like I said, a medium-sized institution with about 4,500 undergraduates, but we are a full research institution with master's and PhD programs as well, about 2,500 graduate students on our campus, and you can continue all the way through the master's and PhD with us if you would like. We are a STEM-focused institution: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So most of our students, the majority of them, do study a STEM discipline. We do have programs in business, the liberal arts, humanities, and arts as well, but STEM is our primary focus. You can see a couple of other pieces of information on this slide. In particular, I want to note that students can pursue a combined bachelor's and master's degree in 5 years, and some students will actually pursue those 2 degrees and complete them in just 4 years. So over 50 degree programs, again, primarily focused in STEM. Our academic calendar at WPI is broken into quarters, 4 quarters, each lasting 7 weeks. So we have a little bit of a unique schedule. Our students take 3 classes, and these are full classes that you normally would take in a semester, but compressed into about half the time. So 7 weeks, 3 full classes starting in late August to mid-October. We call them A, B, C, and D term. So that's A term. B term, you can see from late October to mid-December. C term, we have about a month off in the holiday timeframe. So between each of our terms, you have a break, and you're certainly able to go home if you would like. It's a sufficient amount of time to head home. And then D term wraps up the year in early May. So it is during our calendar is during the traditional academic year. Summer classes are optional in E term there. Again, 3 classes per term, 7 weeks for each of those terms, and very flexible in regards to the academic curriculum. A real hallmark of WPI is our project-based curriculum. So we are a hands-on project-based institution. All of our students have significant required academic projects in order to earn their degree. These are outside of class experiences. There's an interdisciplinary project that most students complete in their junior year, and the majority of our students, nearly 90% of our students, complete these projects off campus at one of what we call our global project centers. And you can see the map here, including a project center close to home for you in Hawaii, but all over the world. We have project centers. You go for one of our academic terms, like I said, you complete that academic project for 7 weeks. It fits right in. It does not delay graduation, even in a STEM discipline. So study abroad, STEM, 4-year graduation. Not often do you hear those in the same sentence. At WPI, it's the norm. Like I said, about 90% of our students will do that. And all students who come to WPI have a global scholarship of up to $5,000. This is in addition to any other tuition, financial aid that you are receiving. Your global scholarship will help you go to one of these off-campus project centers. Hundreds and thousands of examples of these online. We don't have time to get into them in this short amount of time, but please go research more of them. What happens after WPI? Well, most of our students actually during their time on our campus will pursue at least one paid summer internship or co-op program. This starts as early as after the first year. We have hundreds of companies recruiting our students, typically on campus this year virtually, and our students are graduating, like I said, in 4 years with a bachelor's degree, sometimes a master's degree in 4 or 5 years, and earning some of the highest starting salaries that you'll find in the country for college and university graduates, and just some notable employers there. But again, there are hundreds and thousands more of small, medium, and large companies all over the country and all over the world. What's campus like? We are a residential campus. This is just one photo. It gives you a little bit of an idea of a nice springtime day on our campus. This was taken not this year, but in a previous year. We are a residential campus. Most of our students do live on campus, and we have housing for all 4 years if you wish. But like I said, we are located in the second largest city in New England, and there's lots of housing apartments just in the surrounding blocks of our campus. So if you choose to live off campus, that's okay as well. We have Division III varsity sports. So if you're into athletics, the varsity level, and just like you heard at some other institutions, we have club and intramural sports as well. Hundreds of clubs and organizations. Our students are very active on the academic side, but also very, very active outside of the classroom. And then an admissions overview, just to start to wrap up here. I'm not going to read these deadlines to you. This is all on the web, but the key takeaway from the left side of this slide is that we have early decision. Rounds 1 and 2, a binding application option. We have early action, also rounds 1 and 2, a non-binding application option. And then we have a regular decision deadline. So really it's your choice which works best for you. Key thing on the right is that we are a common application school. We've been test optional at WPI since 2007. So we've long been test optional. I'm pleased, very pleased, and actually proud to announce that we are now test blind, one of the few test blind institutions in the country. So test scores are not required at all. And I think I'm at about time. So I'll just wrap up by saying just about everybody at WPI does receive financial assistance to attend. And I won't get into those specifics, but please contact me if you would like to know more. And with that, we will turn it over to our final college of the afternoon.
Great, thank you, Adam. And yes, up next is the Catholic University of America.
Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon for you. Good evening for me on the East Coast. My name is Chris Lyden. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment and Marketing at Catholic University in Washington, D.C. We are one of the nation's oldest research universities. We are 3 miles from the U.S. Capitol on a 176-acre, fully residential campus. We have the largest, greenest campus in all of Washington, D.C. So we offer the advantages of an urban environment with a residential school environment. 98% of our first-year students live on campus, and we require students to live on campus for all 3 years, and many do stay on for their 4th year as well. We take advantage of Washington, D.C. with everything that we do. We have about 3,100 undergraduate students. We have 2,400 law and graduate and law school students. We are welcome to students of all backgrounds. About 80% of our students are Catholic. While there is not a faith requirement on campus for our students who are Catholic, there are obviously ample opportunities to pursue your faith as part of your college career, but there is no religion requirement in our admission process. We're ethnically diverse. Almost 30% of our students identify as something other than white, and about 8% of our students are international. And the single largest country represented at Catholic University outside of the United States is Saudi Arabia. We have a very strong undergraduate and graduate cohort of Saudi Arabian students who come primarily into our School of Engineering. Catholic University has 12 schools. There are 9 that offer undergraduate programs. So we run the gamut from business and architecture, engineering, our School of Nursing. We have the only School of Music in Washington, D.C., a fabulous program in musical theater that is an audition-based program. And many of these programs offer 4+1 programs so that you can be an undergraduate major, say in English, but do our 4+1 to get a master's in management when you finish. We have a 3+3 program with our law school, so you can complete your undergraduate program and your law program both within 6 years instead of 7. And we focus a great deal not only on our curriculum, but also on what we consider to be the 3 legs of the stool for academic experience. Leg 1 is the opportunity for research. As I mentioned, Catholic University is one of the oldest research universities in the country. We have about a 35-year relationship with NASA for research. We are one of the leaders in the world in understanding how to dispose of nuclear waste. And so our physics program is world renowned for their work in that area. But across the STEM areas in psychology, research is a very important part of what our faculty are engaged in, and our undergraduates get the opportunity to be involved as well. Our students are also engaged in internships. They have opportunities to be involved in everything in the city across all of our different programs. It is a Fortune 500 Mecca. The single largest major for undergraduates is politics, and we have students on Capitol Hill every year. We have a student at the White House usually every 2 or 3 years. And with all the federal agencies, if your interest is in the environment, you could be at the EPA. If your interest is in art history, you could be working at one of the Smithsonian museums. So there's a vibrant and rich opportunity for internships. About 80% of our students have at least one internship, and 60% of our class of 2019 graduated with 2 internships or more. And we do things around the world as well. Our flagship program is in Rome. We have the opportunity for students to spend fall, summer, or spring semester on our flagship Rome campus, but we are all over the world, and students can do traditional internships, traditional study abroad study programs, but also internships abroad as well. And so the combination of research, internship, and study abroad are the 3 legs of the academic stool that, combined with your classwork, really prepare you for either future graduate study or for your first job. We're a vibrant community. I mentioned that we are fully residential, so our students come and they live on campus. They come from all 50 states. They come from around the world. So it is a vibrant 7-day-a-week campus as far as that's concerned. We have 25 Division III sports. It's more of the everyone plays type school as opposed to the University of Tennessee, which is a big everyone cheers type school. So Division III is a big participation area for us. About 30% of our undergraduates are varsity athletes, and we have clubs and intramurals as well. And Washington, D.C. is a major league city. So baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and soccer are all major franchises, and our students love to take advantage of the city, not just for the academic enrichment opportunities, but of course for fun as well. In our review, we are a Common App school, and the heart of our review is your high school career. We focus on your high school transcript. We focus on the curriculum that you've taken during the course of your study. If you're interested in our science programs and nursing, then certainly your math and science background matters a great deal. And I note on the bottom of the left there, like WPI, Catholic University is test blind. We do not consider standardized test scores in the admission or scholarship process. So whether you take them or not, we will not consider them. We focus our academic review on the quality of your curriculum and the quality of your performance throughout high school. So it is very much a holistic review. It's Common App only, and we do not charge an application fee. We have ample financial assistance. We allow students the opportunity to compete for our merit scholarships, which range from about $17,000 to $30,000, as well as other scholarships. Our need-based grants, they range from about $1,000 for students who have very little financial need to north of $50,000. So students can have their full tuition covered through need-based grants if that is what the family need is from that perspective. So we do our best to make the university affordable for those students who are offered admission. I am the representative who visits when we can and reads for Hawaii. Again, it's Chris Lydon, Lydon, and my email is right there. And we are doing a ton of virtual events. So you can just visit our campus visit page and you can see virtual events available to you for high school students right now. So best of luck, and we're all happy to answer some questions for you with the time that's remaining. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Chris. And yes, we have a little bit of time for Q&A, and so I'll ask all of our presenters to come back on camera and respond to this question. What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we will go in the same order that you presented. So starting with Pitzer.
Yeah, I would say, as you're going through the process, to be honest with yourself in terms of what are you looking for. It isn't always about the type of institution or the reputation or the ranking of the institution. It's really about the institution that's right for you. And so be honest with who you are, what you're looking for. Ask yourself some questions and have other people ask you questions in terms of to better understand what you're looking for in an institution, so that way you'll find the right match institution.
I would second everything that Yvonne just said as well. I think in addition to that as well, there are over 3,000 colleges and universities in the US, and obviously the amazing colleges and universities abroad as well, such as UBC. And I tend to think that there's probably, a few campuses for each student that would meet what they're looking for in a college or university. So I think after you've taken the time to reflect, as Yvonne mentioned, and are honest and talk to others about what you're looking for, really spend some time looking at all the different colleges that are out there. There are so many that are out there that could actually be a great fit for you. And I think most students can find, at least 3 or 4. And I think the students who, go through that process, I think the happiest at the end of this process and the most content with their choice when they decide where they're actually going to attend.
Yeah, y'all, we're on the same page, Yvonne and Jamila, or we have similar advice. So it must mean that it's probably true. So my best advice to you is to look for the school that fits you. I know you've probably got advice from parents, don't kill me, but you've probably got advice from parents coming in and friends and family and all these people saying, you should go here, you should go there. But honestly, this is the next 4 years of your life and you have to love it. So we talk about fit, finding the best fit. You might think about a clothing article. You might see the coolest people you know, or the people you want to be like wearing this one specific clothing article. You go to the store, you try it out and you're like, nah, this ain't it. And then you try on something, you're like, I don't think that's going to work for me, but why not? I'm at the store and you're like, oh my gosh, I love it. So college is kind of that way. Don't go somewhere just because you think it's cool or your friends like it or your family likes it. Consider a bunch of different options. Like we've said before, there's thousands of schools all over the world. So think about different places, go visit, try it on and see if it fits. You never know, you might love it.
All really good points. I want to make sure we have time for questions. So I'm just going to say, ask lots of questions, see if you can get a hold of a student that's currently going there. Yeah, we'll make sure we have some time for some questions. And over to you, Adam and Christopher.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I don't want to repeat the things that have been said, but I will say, reach out to people like us. We don't just give our email addresses because, we want to. Like, this is our job. We want to help you. We want to ask questions, especially if you can't visit, whether it's because of the current pandemic or just because it's a long trip. We are happy to correspond with you, get you in touch with students. That's what we're here for. So please reach out to us.
Yeah, it's tough going 6th. Be open-minded. Best advice I can give. Be open-minded. And as I said at the end of my session, we are all doing virtual programs. You don't need to leave home to get a great sense of many, many colleges. And that may help you decide where to actually do in-person visits as the world opens back up. So take advantage of the technology to have the broadest possible search and be open-minded about what's a good fit for you.
Excellent. Well, thank you all so much. We are just about out of time for this session. So I do want to say thank you to our presenters for being here and all the fabulous information that you shared. And thank you to our attendees for joining us. After you close this window, a very quick 4-question survey will appear. We really do appreciate your feedback. Please do sign up for additional sessions happening as part of this college fair. And again, a recording of this session and all other sessions will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/Hawaii. So again, thank you and enjoy the rest of your days.